So friends, my opinion on the BaseBar is that it's fine. Like, if you came to this video just to get my quick opinion and overview of the BaseBar, I can give it to you now. I don't need to put it in the middle of the video. My summarized, unsponsored opinion of the BaseBar is that it's pretty decent. It's a decent way to train pull-ups or build up to pull-ups if you can't do one yet, especially if you can't install something in your house, if you can't install a doorway pull-up bar. However, I do think there are some manufacturing and business issues that I'll talk about in this video, as well as the fact that it's somewhat pricey for what you're getting. There may be a cheaper way for you to build it yourself, or there may be more affordable options if you want to look into something else like gym rings. So I hope that was a quick enough summary if you just wanted a fast opinion, an overview of my opinion on the product. Really guys, I'm never trying to bait you into watching the full video. I'm kind of a wordy guy. I like details, so sometimes I'll make my videos pretty long because I want to add a lot of stuff. But whenever possible, when it's something like this, I'll try putting up a short clip that summarizes my opinion up front so you can save some time. Let me know if you like that or if you'd like it even faster. And now into the details. Hello my friends, it is your brother Hampton from Hybrid Calisthenics. Welcome back to another episode of Unsponsored Reviews. Unsponsored meaning I did not take anything of value from the company. They didn't pay me, they didn't give me this product, I bought it myself. They don't even know that I'm doing this review. Unless they're spying on me, in which case that would be a negative part of this review. Today we're going to review the BaseBar done by the company BaseBlocks. Now before I say anything else, I want to say that this company has done a great job of marketing itself to a target audience. I started getting its ads several months ago, maybe over a year ago, and they seem to be doing a good job of paying certain influencers and celebrities to demonstrate using their product. Most notably, I've seen Georges St. Pierre and Simon Atta, also known as Simon Monster. There may be other people that I'm not aware of, but those are the two main people that I've seen. So they did a good job marketing it, but why should anyone get it? You can do a variety of exercises with it, like an elbow lever, dips. I use it as a chair. You can even use it to practice your bongo technique. I'm sure mine is terrible. Feel free to judge me in the comments. But most notably, in my opinion, it can be used for doing pull-up variations like this. And if you have the core strength, you can even do L-sit pull-ups with it. And to that extent, as in being for pull-ups, it works about as well as you could expect from looking at it. By the way, I made the sun brighter by waiting one day. What I think may hold some people back from ordering, whether or not you think it's right, is the price. At the time of filming, the BaseBar, which is what you see in this video, is $149. The BaseBar Pro, which is like this, but a little bit larger and has different sizes, is $189. And their big bar, which is their full-size pull-up bar, is $245. But today, in this video, we're only talking about the BaseBar, which is, again, $149. Now, in my opinion, this product and their other products are marketed kind of as a premium minimalist product. And you can see this somewhat reflected in the price. Because at $149, which in my opinion is not necessarily unreasonable, but at that price you could certainly buy a pull-up tower, a full-size pull-up tower, or it's like 3 times the price of a door frame pull-up bar of multiple sorts, or a set of gym rings. And in my opinion, that's fine. Premium products exist for people who want a premium experience. But the question is, did they use premium manufacturing? Can they deliver a premium experience? Well, kind of. See, while the product seems to be made of high quality material and looks very nice in my opinion, there were some issues I noticed right upon opening the box. But before I go any further, I just want to say that I made this video and I made this review for potential customers of this product. These are the words I would say to a friend who told me they were considering buying this product. It's not necessarily what I would say to the company themselves, especially if it was run by a friend. So it's intended for you all, my audience, but I know there's a chance someone from the company might see that. And I am about to talk about some criticisms I have for the manufacturing and my customer experience. I hope they're not too harsh. I really don't like saying things that are negative about other people. So this is really just me looking out for potential customers of this product. I hope I don't come across as too mean, and it's certainly not my intention to hurt anyone's feelings over this, and I'll talk more about that later. Okay, so when I received the order, which came pretty quickly, this is what I got. There was just this and one box, which I can't find, but it was just a white box that had their logo on it. This plus some plastic wrap, and that was it. There were no usage instructions. There was no paper that showed you how to set it up. I assume they thought it was pretty self-explanatory, and they also sent an email that linked me to a video that showed someone setting it up, which is fine for me and fine for probably a lot of people around my generation, but some people may not be comfortable with that. Some people perhaps who are older may order their product and just be confused as to how to set it up. And this is extra important because when I got these, there were only these 3 metal pieces, plus this plastic cap that's on top, but it came pre-capped. I didn't have to install these. This is just how it came. There are these holes here, and I assumed there was some pin that you would insert to adjust the height. And it's very important that I only received these 3 pieces of metal because I did not receive the pins. In fact, I had to email them in order to get the pins. So it's notable that while I received the product pretty quickly, I had to wait a while for the pins. And in fact, I was confused, and believe me, I looked everywhere. I made sure I looked in the box, I made sure I looked in the brown box, and the white box came in, and there was really no trace of the pins, which happens. And I emailed them, and it was pretty late at night, and they emailed me back right away, and they said they would send me one. But even though they emailed me back right away and said they would send them to me right away, the pins must have come from their source supplier or manufacturer or something, somewhere in China, because it took, I think, 10 days to 2 weeks for the actual pins to get here. So that didn't really bother me because I wasn't in a hurry to use this product, but I do mention it. I do mention it because I understand some people might be very frustrated if they ordered this and they were very excited to work out and they really want to ride that wave of motivation. They say, well, I want to start working out today, and they get the product and they can't use it for another 2 weeks. I only bring it up because this is part of the review, and I understand some people might be very frustrated by that. However, I do want to mention that while this might seem like a hassle for some people, I don't think this means the company doesn't care about its customers, that doesn't care if we get every piece of their product. I don't know how often these missing pieces happen. And speaking as someone who's sold fitness products before, it can be pretty hard to find a reliable supplier. So it doesn't mean the core company doesn't care just because in this one case I was missing a few pieces of their product. Now, on the other hand, this is why I do the reviews unsponsored. I'm sure if they contacted me and they said, Hampton, we would like you to do a review of our product, they would, I imagine, make sure I get every piece of their product. They would probably make sure I had a good, one of the best versions of their product. They wouldn't give me a poor one. So this is one of the reasons why I do these unsponsored. It's because it's much more realistic to the average person buying this product. They're most likely not going to be someone who's going to do a review and show many people on YouTube. So while I don't mean to be mean and I don't think the company doesn't care, this might be more realistic than a sponsored review. Now, beyond that, after I got the pins, while setting it up, there were just a few other things that I noticed. One of the plastic caps, I think it was this one, had some loose plastic, and as a result, the screws that came inside it, again, I didn't have to screw these in, they came pre-screwed, were a little bit loose, and as a result, I couldn't put the top bar all the way on, at least not very easily. This means that while I was putting this on, one side went in very easily, and the other side, it was actually this side, would not really go on that easily, and it scraped the cap enough that I took a picture of it and sent it to support and asked if it was normal, and they did not seem alarmed. So this might be normal for their products. Okie doke, so when it's set up like this, there are functionally 2 heights. One around hip height for me, which is perfect, and when it's raised up, it will be around collarbone height for me, which is also functional. So this part might seem a little bit boring, but I thought it might be useful if I showed you in real time like what it takes to adjust it, at least for mine, because as I was mentioning about the premium experience earlier, it would seem it won't make you fitter. It won't make you fitter, but it would seem nicer if one could stand here and just like smoothly raise it up and down like this, which they might have in their new products, but we're reviewing the BaseBar here. But it's just a little bit stuck for me. I know in their instructional manual, like I think they tell you to move it, turn it upside down or something, but intuitively, this is how I would adjust the height. So that's what I'm showing here. And I actually flipped it, so it's this one that's a little bit tight. I don't know if you can tell in the video. But there are some holes here, which, see, it's still kind of stuck, which Doesn't require that much resistance, but it's not impossible that some people are not yet strong enough where they could easily adjust that. So that's another thing, another ease of use thing I would keep in mind, that for some people, if it's more stuck than mine, they may lack the strength to get it aligned the way it should be. See, this side's pretty easy. This side's pretty easy. See, and after you have it like this, it's not a big deal to insert these pins and push them in all the way. There are 2 holes, so I imagine you can put in 2 pins per side. That's probably safer. I'm probably just gonna use 1 pin per side just for demonstration purposes. Never mind, I'll put them both in. Okay, so after you get it set up, it's around this tall. There's really not that much wrong with it, or could be wrong with something like this, as long as it's built stably. It is made of durable material, that is good. The grip on it doesn't slide, although that's not necessarily a good or bad thing. So I didn't think of this until now, but the bar is fairly thick. I'm guessing it's an inch, maybe an inch and a quarter, around that thickness. And it does matter because if it's thick enough, some people do have trouble gripping it. However, again, it's not necessarily good or bad, because if you lack the grip strength to grip it properly and you feel like you're slipping, this might be able to help, because you will increase your grip strength by adapting to a thicker bar. So just something to keep in mind. It also may be interesting to note that I am not a very big person. I'm not a very heavy person. And if you want to do horizontal pull-ups, if you don't want to do the harder variations on the higher setting and you just want to pull on something that's around this height, there is a notable thing that happens, because if you do this and you start to lean back, you'll notice that the thing will lean back with you. So there is a limit to which you can angle it. If you wanted to do it, if you want to do horizontal pull-ups at this height, you would either be able to do them starting off with your legs bent like this and come up like this, which is fine, or you just wouldn't, you'd be bringing it to your face pretty much. It'd be more like a face pull, I guess. So just something to keep in mind, that I'm not a very heavy person, and moving it around, it's fairly light. So those are the issues that I have with it, but there might be some heavier individuals where even doing regular pull-ups like I was, like this, might make it shake around a little bit. Certainly if you're over 250, 260 pounds, I'm not sure what the weight limit to this thing is. But yes, the product does work. I wouldn't overthink it. It's really just a point of vertical resistance that you can adjust to functionally 2 different settings. These kind of pull-up bars, these horizontal pull-up bars, I might make a do-it-yourself tutorial, because they are probably one of your better options. If, again, you can't install something in your house, and there's no place you can hang gym rings, even in a garage, and you can't go outside, or you can't find a public park or anything, these horizontal bars are a good way for you to do pulling type exercises. It's at least better than doing nothing. Some might be upset that you can't do regular pull-ups with these. They do offer a big bar, which I have not tried yet. It is one of their more recent products, I think. But horizontal pull-ups can get pretty difficult. If you're worried about them not being difficult enough, I wouldn't worry too much about it. In fact, if you find, here I'll show you, if you find something like this and you have your feet up on a table or a chair like this, and you do horizontal pull-ups like this, especially not using a lot of assistance with your legs, the difficulty is, I would say, at least comparable to full pull-ups. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. I'd probably do this on the lower setting so you're not as high up in case you fall. You definitely don't want to fall, so I'd do this lower with a chair or something, but this railing is just the perfect height for me to show you at this level. Like this, you can build up to 2 sets of 20 like this, and that's a viable substitute to doing a pull-up, so just something to keep in mind. So that is most of what I have for now. I don't want this video to be too long. I'm sorry if there's something that I'm forgetting and you wanted me to show it or demonstrate it and I didn't do it. Please let me know in the comments and I'll answer it if possible. I do want to take a few minutes to talk about the business. So I mentioned before that in the spirit of being fair to the company that sells the product that I'm reviewing, having certain supplier and manufacturer defects and flaws does not necessarily mean the company doesn't care. I've sold fitness products myself before. I don't know if you want to consider that some bias. I'm not currently selling pull-up bars at the moment of filming this video, and I probably won't for at least several months for reasons I'll talk about right now, because I spent a while looking for a good pull-up bar manufacturer. Okay, so like these are just some of the ones, these are just ones I could find. I've spent probably quite a lot of money on just flawed products alone, probably over 1,000 just in samples. These are just pull-up bars. I was looking for other products as well. And I'm sorry if it looks a little bit disorganized, but this is how they arrived. This is how they arrived. When I contacted these companies, I told them I was interested in ordering thousands of dollars of pull-up bars, and they sent me a sample. This is how a lot of them arrived. So let me show you real quick. So this is from one of the companies that I contacted. It seems like a fairly sturdy pull-up bar. I tried all of them. It takes sometimes several weeks for the sample to get here, and it only takes me a couple minutes to know whether or not I want it, and usually I don't want it. I think I was mostly okay with this. I was a bit confused as to what this contraption did. I think it's meant to tighten the pull-up bar or stop it from moving or something. I know I probably could have contacted the company to tell them that I just didn't want this and I liked the rest of it, but I think there was some other issue with it. This one arrived stained. By the way, I paid for these samples. These aren't free samples. I paid retail for these samples. I think $70 for this one, and it arrived stained. You can't really see it that well on the camera, but it also had like a weird chemical smell, and it was like wet. As soon as that was the first thing I noticed. I was like, oh, it looks okay, and I took it out of the bag, and I'm like, why are my hands wet? So another sample. This pull-up bar I think was okay, but I think the issue was the company wanted me to use their box. They wouldn't give a different, even just a brown box, unless I ordered a lot of them. I think like 500 or 1,000 for a first-time order, and it has multiple typos on it. So if you're ever wondering why someone's promoting a product and it seems like they speak the language pretty well, and then they sell you a product and it has all kinds of typos on it, it's usually because the company that's selling the product or makes the product or makes the packaging doesn't necessarily speak the language as well as the person selling it. Okay, and then there's this transformer looking thing. By the way, you don't need to stick around for this if you're not interested in this. I just know a lot of people who watch this review are also interested in getting some kind of pull-up bar at home, so I just want to talk about this really quick. I'm glad I got this because there was a company that was doing pretty well. I saw lots of ads for it on Facebook. I might review specifically their product later. That was selling basically this. When I saw it, I'm like, oh, I know what supplier they got it from, because like I saw ads from that supplier trying to sell it to me. And they were selling it at like much higher than a regular pull-up bar. Like I think like 120, 130, 140, like as much as a BaseBar. And they advertised that it was screwless, which helps because sometimes your landlord owns the building and they don't want you screwing to the walls, and it's supposed to be tension tightening. So the idea is that you extend this, I think by rotating, yeah, you rotate it out until it fits somewhat in the door frame, and then you pull down on it and it gets wider. So theoretically you get tighter and more secure as you pull down on it. Don't get one of these, in my opinion. I tried it out. First of all, you need a somewhat sturdy door frame, like ideally a metal one, because just this will, especially if you're heavier, this will crush wood. In fact, you can kind of see the mark here where I dug into my paint. That's from my door frame. I tried it once and I heard a crack, and it was digging into my door frame and it was rubbing off some of the paint, so I didn't want to use it anymore. So it's gonna damage your walls, or I should say, that it damaged my walls. It has the potential to damage your walls, and it's not that secure. The idea of pulling down, again, this is just vertical resistance, pulling down and making it tighter sounds good in theory, but when you're doing pull-ups, you're going to be swinging back and forth a little bit. Even with good form, you're gonna push against it a little bit, and even in the short time that I used it, I noticed it go off to the side, it tilted forward a little bit, and it's just not something that I would trust with my workouts. So in conclusion, another failed sample. Now this one, and I know a lot of these look similar, was pretty good. This was the one I almost went with, I think. I almost ordered from this company a lot, and had I gone through with it, I'd be selling a lot of pull-up bars daily. It was good. They didn't want me to order too many for a first-time order, and the pricing was reasonable to me. The one thing that I noticed was this there was a piece of broken plastic, which doesn't really affect the use of the pull-up bar that much. It doesn't really make you less able to do pull-ups, but you're going to be doing many pull-ups, and it's totally possible you might get a finger caught on it, and you certainly want to avoid degloving. Don't look that up if you have a weak stomach. So it's something I was concerned about, and especially if someone just didn't want to deal with it and they pulled it off, and then you can really cut your fingers on something like this. And the reason that happened, as far as I could tell, is the welding between these two pieces is too thick. So everything is fine until you close it all the way, and you can kind of see it widen. So that's why it happens. The plastic isn't too expensive, and as you tighten it, it cracks. So I messaged the company and I said, hey, I like your product. I would like to order a bunch of them, but can you guarantee that if I order 500, 600, 700 of these, or however many, that they won't all be cracked? And their answer was basically no, that's part of the design. And when I mentioned it wasn't necessarily a design flaw, but a manufacturing flaw, she said that she would contact someone, and she never got back to me. It's been months. So I know that was a tangent, I know that wasn't directly related to the BaseBar, but I just wanted to be fair to the company, especially because I had some criticisms that I know that having some supplier issues doesn't necessarily mean the company doesn't care, because I've sold fitness products and I cared, and every once in a while, yes, there is an issue, and at the time you just have to do your best. They did respond to me right away, and they did seem to really care. Or they might not care. I'm not saying one way or the other. I don't know who runs the company. I'm just trying to be fair. So my summary on the BaseBar. Pretty decent product. The pricing might be a little bit high for some people, but if you live in the US, for most states, the shipping is built in. So they could have claimed to sell it for less and then sold you more on shipping, but the shipping is built into the price for, I believe, 48 out of 50 states. I do like what the company seems to be doing as far as the products they're offering. There seems to be a room in the market. I think people will want premiumly manufactured products that are minimalist and geared towards bodyweight exercise. So even if you watch this review and you're like, Hampton, you kind of sold me against the product. I was open to it, but I watched the video and now I don't really feel like buying it. That's fine, that's fine. The company might continue to innovate as they grow. They might find better suppliers, they might find better manufacturers, and they'll be able to offer better products. So even if you don't want anything now, you can keep an eye on the company and see how they grow. My friends, I really hope you liked the video. Please let me know any kind of comments or questions that you have. I always do my best to answer as many questions as possible. Please let me know what you think. Have a beautiful day.